Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been getting bigger.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto. This is your morning show where we bring you the latest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, technical, on-chain, and fundamental analysis. And in today's video, today's stream, I am so very excited to bring you some updates on what's going on over at Twitter. If you guys remember, we commentated here a couple of days ago about how Elon Musk had sent out an email at midnight telling every single employee of Twitter that you have to click yes to an ultimatum or accept severance at 5 p.m. on Thursday. That was yesterday, and many hundreds of the remaining 2,700 employees or so did not press that yes button. What did that button say yes to? Well, essentially, Elon Musk said that they are going to be long working hours at high intensity, and only an exceptional performance will constitute a passive grade. Those are all three direct quotes from the email that he sent out to Twitter employees. If you did not click yes, then you would be fired on 5 p.m. on Thursday. That was yesterday, less than 12 hours ago now. A little over 12 hours ago now, you would have been fired, and you would be accepting 3 months severance. And many hundreds of Twitter employees have now left, some of them being, quote, legendary engineers, other of them being on 24-hour call in case something broke at Twitter. Something you may not know is a lot of companies have different people on something called what is known as call, which basically means if it's 3:37 in the morning and something breaks, then you get a phone call and you get up out of bed and you go and fix it. It's part of being on salary for some positions. And those engineers over at Twitter who are on call to fix broken systems on a moment's notice to prevent having as much downtime as possible, a lot of those are leaving also. So there are many engineers, many people working at Twitter that believe Twitter could start to, quote, break down over the next couple of days, and we're going to see what that's going to look like. But the thing I also want to talk about with you today are the charts of Bitcoin. We want to take a close look at where Bitcoin is, why Bitcoin is where that it is, and where Bitcoin may be going and why over the next several months. My name is Crypto Jebb. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the post notification bell so you'll never miss an episode of Coffee and Crypto Live. We've got a great one lined up for you today, and I am very much looking forward to it. Also, very excited to be back in studio. It was helpful to be able to do the stream from home, but I'm very excited to be back in the studio with my full setup and the full camera rig and everything. Very excited to bring you Coffee and Crypto, just like the good old days with the good old Shure SM7B. I love this microphone. Let's go ahead and read chat, guys. J520 was first. Indeed, you were. Thank you very much for tuning in. Grand Roofing Incorporated. Grand Roofing Incorporated. I can almost sing again with my messed up voice. I'm not a very good singer, but I do like to sing. And for some reason, whenever I see your name, Grand Roofing, I just think of the Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. Tell me if you guys know where. Most of you guys are probably not from my generation, so you might not. Maybe you didn't watch Phineas and Ferb. I didn't watch Phineas and Ferb very much, but I just get that. I just get that vibe every time I read your name, man. Anyway, Daniel J said, first question mark. No, I'm sorry. You got to be faster on that draw. Guys, that's why you need to hit the post notification bell, because if you were first, whether you're a green name or not, I will give you a shout out. Daniel J, you tried, buddy. You will get it next time. Let's see. We also got a bunch of other green names here. Grand Roofing said, hey, Jebb, the algo gods aren't working very well. The past few days, I've not been getting notifications. I've had to pull up your channel. Do apologize for that. YouTube is not treating us very kindly lately, I suppose. I guess it could be that they know I've been researching a lot about programming lately and have not been pushing your notifications. I don't know. That is strange. Elliot Lockett also in chat said, morning. Adam Rourke said, won't be surprised if SBF doesn't go to jail. So it's a double negative. You're saying it would make sense to you if he didn't go to jail. Won't be surprised if SBF doesn't go to jail. I'm very confused by that statement. That's probably just because my brain isn't working. It's too early. But nevertheless, I think he's going to, and I think he belongs there. Let's see. Adam Rorick also in chat. Crypto Sec Guy. Matt C in chat. Are you going to the Cardano Summit tomorrow? I am not. I am going to be resting with my family tomorrow and getting ready for the holidays. Probably doing some more Christmas decorations. Your volume is loud again. Yes, we're back on the studio equipment. Mitch Shaw in chat. A lot of other people in chat. Meek Vision. I'm not sure. Crypto Set Guy in chat. Make a joyful noise. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto. I guess there won't be much quiet quitting at the twits. Yeah, a lot of the tweeps, I think, is what they're called. And over there at hashtag Love Where You Work, people are. It's getting rough for them. So let's go ahead and jump on over. We're going to start over on CoinMarketCap, but we're going to spend quite a bit of time talking about Twitter today. Really appreciate all of you tuning in. Thank you guys very much for all of your support. Bitcoin currently sitting at $16,664 and change, is up 0.91% over the last 24 hours. And that is interesting because if you look at the chart over on Bitcoin, on the 4-hourly chart, it means that we're actually trying to move sideways out of this descending triangle pattern. I've seen this happen before. This does not necessarily mean that we've broken bullish. It does just mean that the bears were not at that time strong enough to push Bitcoin below this uptrending level of support right here. In fact, I'd wonder if Lux Algo SR and Patterns Premium has that trend line. Look at that. It does. Remove the drawings. Lux Algo SR and Patterns Premium had that uptrend right there. Boom. Loving Lux Algo, guys. Make sure you check them out. The link in the description box down below. But anyway, we'll get to that a little bit more later. Right now, Bitcoin is breaking bullish kind of out of a symmetrical triangle pattern, but really what it's doing is it's just reestablishing another symmetrical triangle pattern that is overriding the former. So to be honest with you, it's almost like this is the pattern at this point. I've watched the market do this many times in my tenure here in cryptocurrency, and this does not constitute a bullish breakout at all. And I'll tell you why. Bitcoin did break to the upside, and it did have a small candlestick here of about $250 to the upside within that hour, up about 1.6%. But then very quickly thereafter, that was likely a long squeeze of some kind, dropped the market very quickly right back down here. In fact, if we just come over here to my research pages and liquidation data, you guys know I like looking at liquidation data, then we're going to probably, if I were to guess, see a little bit of a short squeeze taking place there. And sure enough, we saw $5 million in liquidations take place right there. Then we saw another $3.5 million. That jumped the price a little bit, but Bitcoin was not able to sustain that, so it moved to the downside. What we're seeing right now is Bitcoin is finding equilibrium down here around $15,000 to $17,000, which basically tells us that right now, with current market conditions, geopolitical factors included, we are looking at this being a somewhat of an equilibrium price for Bitcoin. Bitcoin seems pretty happy to camp out here. It doesn't seem like it has the exuberance to jump all the way up to $18,200 just instantaneously. It also doesn't seem like it has the bearishness and the FUD to just crash much lower. Right now, we're in a holding pattern, and that means that we're waiting to see what the market is going to do next. But do keep in mind that Lux Algo and many of our other technical indicators are giving us indication that we are in bearish territory. In fact, on this strong sell signal right here, we have only barely gotten into the take profit zone, which drops all the way down to $12,800. We are down in the reversal zone, which is true, and we could see ourselves bounce out of it a little bit here. But if we get out of the bullish reversal zone right here, the one on the bottom, if we manage to get out of that, actually it'd be the bearish reversal zone. If we're able to get out of that reversal zone just a little bit, but not actually get up here to the EQ cloud, which would probably be somewhere around here. If we're able to get up here, but not get to the EQ cloud, that signals weakness, and we would probably see a decreasing volatility for a time where both of these constrict together like this. But then you would likely see increasing volatility where the bands widen and Bitcoin follows the band back to the downside after a period of consolidation event taking place over the next week or two. And the reason that that's important is because Bitcoin is currently in a bearish bear flag. And that bear flag does have a price target that I've shown you guys over the last couple of days. You can see the price target right here. Let me just go ahead and that is not a candlestick, Jebb. That is a wick. Let's go ahead and grab a candlestick right here, or a trend line right here. This trend line, you can see, gives a price target on Bitcoin down in the 12,000s, which makes a lot of sense technically if you look out here on the VPVR and you take a look and notice that the VPVR on Bitcoin is giving us quite a lot of support starting here at $12,000. So it gives us a reason to believe, not so much a reason to believe, but it gives us context for why we could see Bitcoin dropping where it does. You can see I drew that line earlier. It lines up almost perfectly because that's where the VPVR support really starts to come into play based on all of this price action and trading that took place back over here. In fact, the point of control on the VPVR sitting at $9,500. So if you're thinking that Bitcoin is out of the woods just yet, I would think again that I'm not saying that this is not a good time to buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrency because it is a halfway decent place to be acquiring that cryptocurrency that you are looking for. In fact, we've already made half of our entries at this point. We entered at $18,369, and then we also entered on Bitcoin anyway. Now we invested in Bitcoin, ETH, and ADA. We invested on the Bitcoin side of things at 18,369, but also at 16,182. I'll show you what that looks like really quickly. You can see right here, these are the two entry prices that we got on Bitcoin where we put the first bits of our investment into the market. So we're scooping up these levels. This is the first time I'm making a major purchase on Bitcoin in many months. When Bitcoin originally came down into the 20s, I didn't buy down here because I honestly thought we were going to go lower. And so now it's going lower and we're buying. So I remember watching what happened in 2020. Let me just show you that on the screen as well. In 2020, we watched Bitcoin go all the way down, dropping 56 to 70% in the span of just a few days following the beginning of the pandemic. You can see here in February, started getting out that it was getting out. It got out to Taiwan, and then it showed up in Italy, and then it showed up in South Korea first, and then it took over Europe, and the pandemic went nuts. And then here in March, mid-March, all the airlines shut down, all the cruise lines shut down. We saw a 50% drop on Bitcoin, negative $4,000, which is negative $4,000 is a big movement today, even though that would be like a 10-15% movement. $4,000 drop to the downside in a day. I acquired Bitcoin at these levels. I acquired Ethereum at these levels, especially Ethereum. When Ethereum dropped in that massive way, I acquired Ethereum at $136, which was right down here. I managed to get some ETH. I think I bought 2 or 3 ETH right down there at $136. And if we just measure what happened from there, that investment brought a 30x. I mean, I 30x'd the money that I put into that. I put $300 into it. It turned into $10,000. So, and then I bought more and more and more up here at these levels and acquired a bunch over the course of dollar cost averaging, over the course of investment about every 2 weeks or so. And I was very happy to get up here, and I had well over a dozen Ethereum just from those trades, not including the other Ethereum that I had acquired. So I was very excited by that. And so that's because I was able to buy the dip and I didn't just sit around and wait for the perfect level. And on top of that, guys, another thing to keep in mind is that when Bitcoin does undergo a bear market, it typically will retrace 85% from all-time high. Back here in November of 13, we saw Bitcoin rally to 1250, and then we dropped 85 to 86% over the course of just over a year. You can see about 400 days, negative 85% during the bear market. Here, we saw Bitcoin drop 85% over the course of almost exactly a year to the day of a bear market. So far, Bitcoin is following that exact same trajectory, except it's not just flash crashing and then kind of trading sideways, then flash crashing again. We've been gradually moving to the downside in a pretty sustainable way ever since the all-time high. Very interesting the way this bear market's playing out. But you can see at the moment we're down 77%, and it's been 380 days. So you can reasonably expect that you can reasonably expect two things. One, the bear market is very close to being over. We're in the territory of negative 85%. We're in the territory of 350 to 450 days. However, on the flip side, you could also argue that we may not be quite done yet. Maybe 85% retracement and it takes 500 days. Sitting over here in maybe the bottom is in March of 2023 or something like that would make sense. It would make sense if this bear market took longer than the previous bear markets, and it's funny because it feels a lot shorter than the 2018 bear market. The 2018 bear market felt like it took forever, but this one is actually already longer. But nevertheless, it seems like Bitcoin may have a little bit more to go, but the thing to keep in mind and the thing to be excited about is that the bottom is close, and it's not just because of Bitcoin. Also keep in mind geopolitical factors that are coming into focus right now. We've seen the fact that the CPI data for the US dollar has come back at 7.7% on November the 10th. Let me see when the next CPI data release is. It's probably early December. It's December 13th. I was going to say December 10th or December 11th. So December 13th is probably a Monday. I'd have to check. But nevertheless, December 13th, we're going to see if CPI comes back lower. Is CPI going to be 7.2 this time? Is it going to be 7.4 this time? Is it going to beat 7.7? If so, then you are most likely going to see a effective federal funds rate drop to 50%, 50 basis points rather than 75 basis points. And it's really interesting the timing here on this too. And we're going to get to Twitter, but I also want to make sure that we're covering cryptocurrency as well, because this is Crypto Jebb. So go ahead and take a look at this. You can see right now CME is predicting 75% likelihood of a 50 basis point rate hike, 25% likelihood of a 75 basis point rate hike. And guess when the meeting is? December 14th. The next CPI data release is on December 13th. So if they're already in the meeting and they're already planning on 50 basis points, and then they see CPI come back as a beat, you almost guarantee a 50 basis point rate hike, which means a Fed pivot, which means the cost of money starts to go down, which means that people are going to be able to more aggressively grow their enterprises, which means that the other currencies around the world are going to start to catch up with the US dollar, which means that the Dixie is going to slow down, which means that because it's inversely correlated to Bitcoin, you're going to see Bitcoin move to the upside as a result of Dixie moving to the downside. We've actually already seen the Dixie start moving to the downside. I can show you that over here on the chart. If we just go up here with the button here and press compare, new price scale, you can see that in history, whenever the Dixie, which is the dollar currency index, is very low, I've shown this many times on BLX, and I'm going to leave this up for the duration of the relevancy of it. You can see every time the Dixie is low, you end up seeing the market high on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is inversely proportional to the strength of the US dollar. The strength of the US dollar has gone through the roof, not in a real sense, but comparative to a basket of other global currencies. It has not lost value as quickly as them, so the Dixie has rallied, and Bitcoin has dropped as a result. But there's a very interesting trend going on. The Dixie is no longer rallying. You can see the Dixie is moving down. Bitcoin is moving down too, but traditionally, if not for this black swan event having to do with FTX and contagion, Bitcoin would actually be on the up and up right now. It would actually be trending to the upside. If FTX, even though I think FTX may have manipulated this movement and jumped us above this trend line and caused this movement to the upside in the first place, even though they manipulated that, if FTX didn't go bankrupt, Bitcoin would probably be sitting at $23,000 right now, just as a result of how apocalyptic the Dixie is looking right now. If you look at the Dixie, just go ahead and take Dixie off of Dixie so we can see a little bit cleaner. You can see the Dixie had this bull flag up here, but for the first time in its massive just rampage over the last couple of years, it's broken bearish out of it. It's had different patterns that you can draw here. I mean, you can draw all kinds of patterns here, and it's broken bullish out of every last one of them. But this is the first time that it's broken bearish out of a major pattern on its chart. And remember, guys, the Dixie's a long-term chart. We're looking back here that we're seeing the Dixie at its strongest level since November of 2002. That's insane. And a lot of these trend lines give you a lot of things to look at as well. If you just take a look here, you can see that Dixie is in a general uptrend, but it has been a general uptrend since the beginning, since the 2008 financial crisis, because the US dollar has been gaining strength, which is wonderful for the US dollar. But we're also at the top of the range. So we kind of blasted off and got above it, but we got to the top of the range at the same time that the CME, that the effective federal funds rate is starting to plateau, and that basically tells us that the Dixie's days of just moonshotting and rallying 1 or 2% every single month, if not even more, are likely coming to a conclusion. You can see we're rallying literally 1, 2, maybe even 3% a month at times, but right now it looks like that is coming to its penultimate conclusion, and you could even see where Dixie is finding its support on that trend line right there. Dixie could very easily bounce right here for a little bit, but if the CME is correct in their prediction and the effective federal funds rate is going to stop hiking so quickly, then you are probably going to see Dixie start to pull down and move to the downside, and you're going to see Bitcoin come in to the upside as a response to that, especially after you've seen a lot of these companies that are eventually going to go bankrupt go ahead and go bankrupt. There is likely going to be at least one major company go bankrupt in the next 2 weeks that files for bankruptcy in the next 2 weeks, and that's very sad. That should not be taking place. These companies ought to have enough not leverage. Excuse me. Sorry, that's exactly the opposite of what I was trying to say. They ought to have enough reserves to cover 1-to-1 all of their assets in the asset that was deposited. Do you know how ridiculous it is that you can deposit 1 Bitcoin on FTX and they were holding 0? If you remember yesterday's stream, FTX was holding exactly 0 Satoshis. None whatsoever. Half of their reserves on November the 2nd were in FTT. It's ridiculous. Absolutely absurd that they were not holding Bitcoin, which is the dominant cryptocurrency in the entire industry, the founder of the space, the most secure cryptocurrency that you could possibly invest in. They were not invested in it. And I worry, because the balance sheets are not public, that a lot of these exchanges are in the similar boat. And that is not good. That is very, very, very bad. All right, let's go ahead and read some chat here. Looks like still have all the chats here. Got 750 people watching. Guys, thank you so very much for tuning in. Happy Friday. Good morning, everybody. And like I said, if you were new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that post notification bell so you won't miss a beat. Let's go ahead and read some chat here. Don't have any super chats, but that's okay. Red X said, at Crypto Jebb, sorry Jebb, sorry to have the sniffles. Nasal congestion really sucks. It does. I finally broke and decided to get some medicine for it. I was trying to fight it naturally, but man, my body was just getting wrecked. My wife was like, you know, your body's probably used to fighting it with medicine, so it'd probably be helpful if you took some. So I took some Robitussin, and I seem to be doing a little bit better, but still quite congested if you can hear it in my voice. I'm so glad you fixed the low audio, Jebb. The past few videos were hard to hear. Yeah, I just didn't want to peak out. I do apologize for that. I didn't want to peak the audio and blow up your ears. Crypto Smitty in chat said, good morning, everyone. If you've bought in the 20Ks to wherever you've been fine, just DCAing since June. If you ain't accumulated, you will be kicking yourself. Yeah, a $20,000 buy on Bitcoin is not terrible. You will end up making money on that. My grandson just ate some Fritos. He hasn't eaten much in 3 days. Fever, sick. Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Lord heal him. Hashtag FinSov. 75 is the new 25 basis points. Queen said, yep, it is. It's true. Stop trying to grab knives and start accumulating. When Bitcoin starts sniffing 100K, you won't care whether you got 12 or 30. You'll be happy only if you were accumulating, didn't miss out waiting. Exactly. Pivot doesn't mean rates come down. That's true, but in the history of the effective federal funds rate, I can show you this. In the history of the effective federal funds rate, every single time that they raised rates aggressively, they typically ended up bringing them down aggressively as well, not long after. So you can see the plateau up here lasted a year. And let's just take this off log chart. It makes it a little harder to see. You can see the plateau up here in right before the 2008 financial crisis lasted just about a year. The plateau up here before Trump dropped the interest rates with Biden coming in lasted much less than a year. So it's not very common for them to leave rates that high. They've had rates slammed to the floor for a long time, and they probably would drop them down to 1 or 2% and leave them there so they had something to work with. They were already coming down when the pandemic started, which helped them to ease monetary policy concerns. So they may realize that, hey, it's helpful to have the rates sitting around 2% so that we have ammunition to fight inflation if we have to print a ton of money out of nowhere. And again, I don't think that that's the way that you should be battling inflation, but that is just simply what happens. So yeah, just take that with a grain of salt. Corey just donated $10, said, good morning, Jebb. A good cup of coffee on me. God bless you and the family. Thank you, Corey. I really appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Not this time, Jebb. They printed trillions. They did print trillions. They printed trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, and it's ridiculous. What is your favorite timeline for Lux Algo? Whichever one I'm using, to be honest with you. It works great on all the time frames. I've not found one time frame that's better than the other. It's just really solid on all of them. I'm blaming Dirty Gary for everything, not doing his job, giving guidelines out for the market. Yeah, Gary Gensler dropped the ball, and a lot of people lost a lot of money because he didn't do his job. It's not his fault that the platform went under. It's Sam Bankman-Fried's fault as the CEO, but still, Gary had a job to do, and he didn't. Silent said overslept. Oh my gosh, sorry. Oh man. We need quality oversight. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and jump back onto my screen here and continue talking. But now we're going to pivot a little bit, and we're going to discuss Twitter because we need to take a close look at some of the things that have been going on over on Twitter here. You can see Elon Musk has been tweeting, and his tweets are pretty funny. There's one that just came out while we were live. Let's see what that is. FTX losing over $1 billion of client funds. Senators calling for the FTC to investigate Twitter. That's that's pretty accurate. Help us. You're our only hope. This was, if you guys don't know, there was a PR stunt where these two, and I'm not saying it because I'm not about to get trolled, but they said they were leaving Twitter, and this is their fake name, and then he hired them back. I think he actually hired them. He said, important to admit when I'm wrong, and firing them was truly one of my biggest mistakes. But he said this, punting relaunch of Blue Verified to November 29th to make sure it is rock solid. few retweets here, not to mention sick memes. Coverage of FTX meltdown is comparably faster and better quality on Twitter than old school media. Sam Bankman-Fried is ineffective altruism, but they thought he was saying he was in effective altruism. Easy misunderstanding. Twitter's open source news, etc., etc., etc. And we just hit another all-time high in Twitter usage. Lol. Let that sink in. How do you make a small fortune in social media? Start out with a large one. Yeah, fair enough. But then 11 hours ago, when everybody started leaving because they didn't, or 13, 14, 15, 16 hours ago, when everybody got fired because they didn't press yes on that button, he'd posted the Jolly Roger, the skull and crossbones. I sink of the company. Oh man, the memes are too funny. These memes are too funny. Twitter is the place to be. WinRAR, watching people pay $8 for a blue tick on Twitter. Oh, poor WinRAR. Nobody would ever pay for WinRAR. Look at this. Meanwhile, at WinRAR's company, when somebody accidentally buys WinRAR, that's funny. That's hilarious. But anyway, Twitter CEO, whatever, Chief Twit, whatever you want to call him, Elon Musk also posted this, saying Twitter's dead on Twitter. You get the joke. He's not saying that Twitter's dead. He's saying that Twitter is saying that Twitter's dead, even though Twitter is alive, because Twitter, yeah, explaining the joke probably doesn't make it any better. Anyway, Elon Musk having some fun with it. But the fact of the matter is, there is a lot going on over at Twitter. Factbox, Twitter 2.0. Musk warns of bankruptcy. Flip-flops on blue check mark in chaotic start. Let's read this a little bit. Twitter is at a bumpy ride since new owner Elon took charge last month. The world's richest person halted plans to charge $8 for the sought-after blue check marks as fake accounts mushroomed while bringing back the official badge for some users just day after he ended it. Twitter's also cut staff by half, more than half, while Elon has raised the possibility of the social media platform going bankrupt. Musk fired all the top executives. A lot of the advertisers hit pause. Those are General Motors, Oreo maker Melendez International, Pfizer, and Ford. He said earlier he wanted the company to be the most respecting advertising platform. He would set up a top moderation council with widely diverse viewpoints. He laid off half the workforce. He rolled out the $8 service, then stopped it. Musk on November 5th said Twitter's in-app search would be improved. Search within Twitter reminds me of InfoSeek in 98. That will get a lot better also pronto. So there's a lot that's been going on here. Content accuracy, official label. He killed the official label. Spaces session with advertisers. Warns of bankruptcy. On his first mass call with employees, Musk raised the possibility of the social media platform going bankrupt. Bloomberg News reported. Then SpaceX put $250,000 into advertising on Twitter. That was pretty funny. He knows a guy. And then the ultimatum comes. So Reuters kind of has the play-by-play going on right now here. On November 16th, Musk emailed Twitter employees saying, going forward to build a breakthrough Twitter 2.0 and succeed in an increasingly competitive world, we need to be extremely hardcore. The email asked staff to click yes if they wanted to stick around, warning those who did not respond by 5 p.m. Eastern on November 17th would be considered to have quit and given a severance package. Boom. Let me just lay something out for you. I've been an entrepreneur for 5 years, and I know what it's like to start a business, and I know what it's like to be a little bit crazy and realize that you have this crazy idea, not actually crazy, but this crazy idea, and you really you want to be part of something, and you feel that purpose, and you feel that lightning down in your bones, and you know that there's something out there that you can go and get and go after, and there's a zeal, and there's a zealousness, and there's a power and a passion and a fervor and a desire, and you want it so bad, and that's who Elon Musk is looking for. He's looking for people that are bought into the vision, and he's willing to risk the company going bankrupt to find those people and build something with them. He's willing to do it, and I commend him for that. Because people do not have to work at Twitter if they don't want to. You can say, oh, well, those working hours are too long. Oh, he's building a toxic work culture. You can say all those things. And those things may be true. However, remember one thing. The people that work and worked at Twitter are not forced to work there. They're not bound to work with Twitter. They can leave at any time and get 3 months severance. So the people that stay are staying because they are choosing to stay. And if you choose to stay and you don't like Twitter, then what are you doing? If you are there and you don't like it, leave and get your 3 month severance. But If you are choosing to stay because you believe in what Elon's doing, and you're a great engineer who wants to work for a great engineer, and you believe in freedom of speech, and you believe in what he's talking about building a social media platform that is not going to censor the left or the right or both or not or one more than the other, and not pick sides and not choose winners and play the knights in shining armor and game and knight whoever they're allowed to and play peasants and lords, as Elon Musk put it as. If you're willing to play that game and fight for that idea, then what you have left is a bedrock of employees who are willing to do whatever it takes within the bounds of the law and morality to ensure that that vision comes true. And Elon has one of the most exciting visions for Twitter that I have ever seen in social media. He believes that he can quadruple the user base. He believes that he can 10x the valuation. He believes that he can grow Twitter to be an actual real competitor with Facebook and Instagram, especially when Facebook and Meta just laid off 17% of their workforce. You think Twitter has laid off a lot of people? Facebook laid off 11,000 employees 2 weeks ago. Twitter is in a position where if it survives the next 3 months and it just doesn't go bankrupt, just by that fact alone, having almost no contractors, having 75% lower W-2 payroll, their overhead is going to be cut in half. They're opening new revenue streams so that they can increase that revenue. And slowly but surely, as Facebook is getting wrecked by Mark Zuckerberg, advertisers will come back to Twitter because they will realize that it is the most interesting place on the internet. Or it'll go bankrupt, and this will be Elon Musk's white whale, and it'll be the end of his career. We'll see. I couldn't tell you one way or the other. I'm inclined to believe that he's going to pull it off. I really think he does, that he will. He's the most powerful person on the planet as far as entrepreneurs are concerned, and he has a vision that excites people. It excites young people who are not lazy, who want to sit around and talk all day long about what's offensive. They want to actually go and build something incredible. And those are people with fire and passion and zeal that are willing to work for him for 80, 90 hours a week. A lot of young, single people are willing to work for this guy for 90 hours a week. A lot of them either used to work at Tesla or wanted to work at Tesla and there wasn't an opening or they weren't in the right line of work to be needed at Tesla. But they want to work for a crazy entrepreneur who wants to build something massive. They want to be at the ground floor of that. It's purpose. Something Google discovered. One of the things that Google discovered for getting people excited about work is you give them more work. One of the things that's going on in a lot of social media companies, a lot of tech companies right now, is everybody's so caught up on what you can and cannot say on the platform and who we can and cannot censor and who we should and should not censor, that you don't actually have people working their tail off and building something and being creative. You have a lot of critics and you have a lot of bureaucrats, but you don't have a lot of barbarians who are willing to build something from scratch. And those people need a job. And those people need a passion. Those people need something to do. I'm one of them. I know what those people that are working at Twitter are like, because when I was building this channel, I had a vision. I had a dream. I still do. It's stronger than ever. And you could not stop me. I had a zeal and a passion and a desire to build something for a reason, and it was like lightning in my bones. That's why I use that song, Real Good Feeling, because I resonate with it. I've been listening to that song for 3 years. It's never gotten old because I get it. I understand what Oh the Larceny is singing there. I get it. I know what they're getting at. That feeling of, God, I just don't know what to do with this energy that I have, this passion, this purpose. And there are people at Twitter that have been dormant, waiting for something like this to happen. Some of the top engineers have been waiting for something like this to happen. A lot of the people that have always wanted to work for Elon but never had an opportunity because they were not trained up in the right kind of professional abilities to work at SpaceX or at Tesla now get the opportunity to work for him. I am very surprised and shocked at the media. I'm really not shocked, actually. I'm disappointed in the media for spending so much time talking about the layoffs and not talking about the recruiting going on at Twitter. And quite frankly, I don't have a source for you on the recruiting. I would like to see what the recruiting at Twitter is looking like right now. But I believe that they are getting some absolutely crazy lightning in your bones kind of people applying right now. I would not be surprised if there were 100,000 people that have applied to work for Twitter, and they're sitting back there, Elon Musk sitting back there, just basking in all the publicity saying, Oh, that's hilarious. They think we're going to go bankrupt. They think we're going to go bankrupt. Let's see. We got 500,000 people to employ for 3,000 jobs. Let's go ahead and take the pick of the litter. And we've got all this money because we could run the company with half the employees and then be able to pay everybody enough to pay a competitive wage where they're not going to get the same thing at Google Alphabet. They're not going to get the same thing at Meta. They're not going to get the same thing at Microsoft or Intel or Nvidia or anywhere else. They're only going to get it at Twitter because all of a sudden it has a lot more revenue to go around because they just laid off 80% of the contractors. And now with this, there's probably only 2,000 employees left when there was 7,500, 8,200 earlier this year. Twitter is in a position to hire a bunch of barbarians and to hire a bunch of entrepreneurs who otherwise would be starting Amazon FBA businesses or their own YouTube channel, or they'd be starting their own sneaker line, or they'd be getting into Shopify. But instead, they want to work for Twitter. Twitter is the most exciting place on the planet to work for a young entrepreneur right now who wants to spend 3 or 5 years in corporate world and then go off and start their own business. It is the most exciting place for somebody who has lightning in their bones to work, and the mainstream media doesn't get that because a lot of them are lazy. And it's sad because when you feel that lightning in your bones, that passion, that zeal, it means that you're onto something. And you can feel that about being onto the wrong thing. So don't take that as just, oh, I feel this, so I'm doing the right thing. It's not true. But that is a powerful thing. And I do believe it's from the Lord if you are in his will. And that's where I feel right now with the YouTube channel. I feel so excited. I am so fired up, so pumped to see what the next season is going to look like here. I cannot wait. I have lightning in my bones right now. For the first time in about 3 years, do I really feel it the way that I used to when I was in my bedroom at home or when I was working from home. It's the first time I really feel it again. That passion, that drive. It's people like me that want to go and work at Twitter that feel that. And if you don't feel that, this isn't the point of today's stream, but just a side note, there might be something off. Not with your mental health or anything. I'm just saying maybe there's something in your life that you should be doing that you're not, and you're using the excuse of, well, there's just too much stuff to do day to day. There always will be. What are you going to do about it? You got to make time for it. Let's read chat. All right, 850 people watching. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button if you have not already. Today is the day that the SBF and the... that you're right. That was supposed to be released. Yeah. Bankrupt means nothing. Does not mean it'll shut down. Yeah, well, I mean, look, guys. 3 months from now, Twitter is going to be in a very interesting position because he gave all those people 3 months severance. When they're off of severance, he's going to be able to... he's going to have a whole lot more money. Jeb, do you think a little nuke from Putin might change things? Yeah, it would. I don't think that's going to happen, though. And it hasn't happened, thank God. But really don't think that's going to happen. Lol, Elon's a billionaire, though. He can take those risks. I mean, the thing is, yes, he's a billionaire. He can take those risks. But he's also got literally the entire planet watching him. So he can take a bigger risk. But it's also a bigger risk. You know what I mean? So... huge assets. I like what you did there. Huge assets. That's funny. Coffee, crypto, and Christ. Love everything you're doing. God bless. God bless you too, my friend. Queen said, I choose you, Jeb. Bedrock present. Interesting. Thank you for that. Diamond Hands Daryl said, sorry, Jeb. It's not that simple. How long has it been since you've been in the real workforce working for someone else? I'm not really sure what that has to do with it. Being an entrepreneur is you are working for someone. You're working for your customers. I work for all of you guys, actually. And my job is not as simple as coming in 40 hours a week and then doing my job and then leaving. Like, I have to make sure that I'm ensuring that you guys are happy. When you're an entrepreneur, you do work for someone. You work for your customers. Let's see. Bravo, Jeb, absolutely. Yep. I think you give Elon Musk way too much credit. I am definitely not saying I agree with him on everything morally. I wouldn't be able to work there or want to work at Twitter right now, but I'm telling you that there are people that do. And don't discredit that because it's true. Let's see, what else do we have here? Elon has bankrupted most of the companies he has touched ever since Solar City. Work to live, not to work. Not live to work. Agreed. I agree. But some people feel alive when they are doing that. And not everybody's in a position to do that. I'm not telling everybody to go work 80 hours a week. In fact, I think it's very unhealthy in 99% of cases. But there are some people that that's what they want. Lol, that was awesome. Don't sit around talking about what's offensive. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Elon's hilarious, long time coming. He is pretty funny. Like I said, he's also not perfect. He's far from perfect. And there's definitely things I disagree with him on. Elliot Locke said, I find it funny how all these people are bashing Elon about what he is doing with Twitter. The richest man on the planet who's made his money running businesses must not know what he is doing. Lol. I know. Everybody's like, Elon doesn't know what he's doing. He's just going in and breaking things. The dude is, what? He's a self-made quarter trillionaire. Like, anyway. He can make mistakes, definitely, and he can mess up and miscalculate, but he does know what he's doing. Jebb, do you think more countries will adopt BTC after El Salvador upcoming bull run? Do you think alts will indeed have a future as registered securities? Yes, I do think that you will see more countries adopting Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and I do think that you are going to see some of the securities get regulated as security. I do think you're going to see some of the altcoins getting regulated as securities. I do agree with that. Totally agree. And in fact, I think you're going to see a lot of Central American nations do it, and a lot of South American nations do it that almost did it before. So let's go ahead and keep moving on here. There are some interesting videos that are playing over on Twitter right now. Let's just look at this. Hashtag rip Twitter, hashtag goodbye Twitter trending amid mass exodus and office shutdowns. You can see this is a video here that went up. I'm not gonna be able to give you the audio, but these five guys right here. This was like 45 seconds before 5 p.m. yesterday after the ultimatum, and they're all basically saying, "Hey, I worked here for 10 years." This guy over here is saying, "Hey, I worked here for 9 years and a month," and you can see this video. You can go find this video. It's all over Twitter right now, and everybody's pretty much posting in the Slack channel a salute. And they're basically just saying, I salute, bye, and everybody's leaving. Twitter users were quick to react, potentially for the last time. Twitter was all right Thursday night as hundreds... Twitter was a light Thursday night as hundreds of employees vacated the platform following Elon Musk's ultimatum demanding that they commit to a hardcore work environment or be fired amid the mass exodus. Hashtag rip Twitter, hashtag goodbye Twitter started trending as disbelieving Twitter users wondered if this signaled the end for the social media site. The chaos began Thursday night after Elon, who had fired half of the company, 7,500 staff after his $44 billion takeover, called on the remaining workers to get on board with Twitter 2.0 or leave by 5 a.m. A whopping 75% reportedly chose the latter, potentially resulting in an alleged 88% dip in the workforce since Elon Musk's acquisition, according to a tweet thread by Fortune tech expert Kylie Robinson. Among those sacked were 80% of the engineering staff, including the team that kept the platform's core systems libraries up and running, The Verge reported. Following the mass exodus, Twitter announced that its offices will be closed until Monday and that workers' badge access would be cut until then. People literally cannot get into the office right now because they have shut down the office and suspended everybody's badges. So you literally, if you're a Twitter employee, you can't get into the office right now because they're trying to figure out whose badges to keep online because they're worried about Twitter employees coming in and sabotaging things. Gentlemen, it has been a privilege with you tonight. Hashtag rip Twitter from the Titanic. Needless to say, many Twitter users mourned what they believe was the platform's impending death and also ripped Musk for allegedly causing the demise. Musk turned one of the biggest sites on the internet into a crater within a month. Fumed one disillusioned doomsayer. I never want to hear anyone call him other than a person again. Twitter HQ rip Twitter. It's been a pleasure tweeting with y'all for the past 13 years. Hashtag rip Twitter, wrote another mourner in an anticipatory Twitter tribute. Goodbye Twitter, been a good run, saluted one Twitter wit. They also uploaded a picture of the notorious disaster girl meme with Elon Musk's smiling face imposed over the Twitter logo in the burning house. You guys know the meme. You know what they're talking about. This one right here. There you go. Oh, that's weird. That's creepy. Okay. People need to not use Photoshop for that kind of stuff. Anyway, Elon Musk made it very clear to everybody who's in charge, and he's not playing games. So what does this mean for Elon Musk now? Well, if we look at this article over here on The Verge, this is pretty interesting. Musk gave Twitter staff a deadline, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there was Twitter had roughly 2,900 remaining employees before the deadline Thursday, thanks to Musk's unceremoniously laying off about half of the 7,500 person workforce when he took over. One person said, it feels like a lot of the people who made this place incredible are leaving. The Twitter staffer said, it will be extremely hard for Twitter to recover from here, no matter how hardcore the people who remain try to be. Twitter employees told The Verge that given the scale of resignations this week, they expect the platform to start breaking soon. One said they've watched legendary engineers and others they look up to leave one by one. Several members of Twitter's command center team, a group of engineers that is on call 24/7 and acts as the clearinghouse for problems internally, also tweeted about their departures. If they go down, there's no one to call when things break, said a person familiar with how the team operates. The team that manages Twitter's API for developers has also been severely gutted. In a tweet Thursday evening, Musk said the best people are staying, so I'm not super worried. Yeah. His first priority as Twitter's new owner has been to fundamentally reset its work culture. In an email to employees this week that was obtained by The Verge, he wrote, going forward to build a breakthrough Twitter 2.0 and succeed in an increasingly competitive world, we will need to be extremely hardcore. This will mean working long hours at high intensity. Only exceptional performance will constitute a passing grade. Wow. It's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. Yep. And then this is the tweet right here. We can actually look at this over on Twitter. This tweet right here has a ridiculous amount of attention on it. Matt Miller, this is a Twitter for 9.5 years. He was an employee at Twitter, had 3,000 followers, followed by Jack. I mean, this guy is literally followed by Jack Dorsey. Like, you know, Jack, the founder of Twitter, this guy is followed by Jack Dorsey. So, yeah, I'm going to read chat a little bit. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what's going on over at Twitter. Tell me in the chat what you guys are seeing. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in today. It's very, very much appreciated. And let's go ahead and give me 1 second here. One momento. And we're going to read some chat. Twitter was actually already broken. He's just making changes to try and make it better. Yeah, look, guys, the thing is, when you go into a new company and you do this, it's called a corporate restructuring. Whenever a company goes bankrupt or it's on the verge of bankruptcy, then a CEO will go in and do the same thing. This is not unprecedented. What he's doing is very deep as far as he's like going crazy, but this happens a lot in companies that are not being run very well. And Twitter was not run very effectively. It should have been run a lot differently. And it needed to be shaken up. And what Elon Musk is doing is ultimately going to be good for the platform if it survives. And he's saying that they're at all-time high daily users. So with that in mind, just imagine how many tens of thousands of people are trying to work for Twitter right now. You know managers are probably spending all of their time right now recruiting. He's probably I should have looked it up before the stream. I'm going to look it up after the stream. If anybody has any data, tell me. But I would not be surprised if their recruiting rates are ridiculous right now. Their recruiting is absolutely insane. They've got the money to. I like that Twitter is still functional with only 50 people. Yeah, for real. That's exactly. Twitter is already broken. He's just trying to make it better. Yep. People will replace those leaving with the correct work ethic. And if they don't have the correct work ethic, as far as correct by Elon's definition, then they'll leave or they'll get fired. Easily replaced. Elon Musk is IMO is helping our world, however the system loathes him. Yeah, people hate him. People hate Elon Musk. But Twitter was not run effectively, true. Elon is fixing it, false. Yeah, potentially. If Twitter was running at a loss, who was funding it? Exactly. Fed raising rates 50 basis points doesn't make money cheaper. You're correct. Excuse me, I did misspeak there. It's slowing down the rate of increase, which is a step in the right direction and will lead to a lot of FOMO in the market. Let's see. Love what's happening at Twitter. Yeah, now Twitter can become something useful. Twitter was useful before. I think it's going to be a lot better after this. He's a businessman. Numbers matter. I'm sure the one who's got comfy doing the least amount of work are the ones screaming the loudest about their Twitter jobs going bye-bye. Yep. That's what I'd say. Absolutely. Elon Musk will hire normal people and give them good conditions. Maybe. I think he's going to hire a bunch of crazy people that are going to go nuts. Yeah, they are getting purged, for sure. Twitter is still working, so must have not needed all of them. Yeah, it is working. Like, the worst thing that's happened so far is that there's been a lot of fun had with the Twitter badges, and then there's also been people couldn't log in for like 4 hours, and that got fixed. So it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. I'm not saying Twitter is Twitter is with this last round of layoffs, it probably will break at some points. But yeah, I think that we will. I think it's going to be okay. Guys, I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors really quickly, and they are none other than iTrust Capital. If you guys are not familiar with iTrust Capital, they are a one-stop shop to invest cryptocurrency into the cryptocurrency markets. Invest your money into the cryptocurrency markets using a retirement account of some kind, either an IRA, Roth IRA, 401k, TSP, 403b, 457, all of those different accounts. You can invest in the cryptocurrency market using iTrust Capital today so that you are managing to hold on to as much of your money as possible, because you can invest in the crypto markets with pre-tax money so that you're able to grow and compound your money. One stream about a week and a half ago, I showed you guys that if you invest pre-tax money and you don't take a quarter of that money out up front to pay to Uncle Sam, but you're able to invest with all 100% of that money, that can lead to like 30% more returns 30 years from now, or 20 years from now, or 10 years from now, because you invested with the pre-tax money. You actually end up making a lot more money by paying taxes on the withdrawal side after you hit 59.5. So make sure you check out iTrust Capital with the link in the description box down below. Get a $100 funding reward when you make an account with our link right now. Cool beans. Let's continue reading chat. You guys have some wonderful things to say. There are probably a few people working around the clock over there at Twitter for the time being. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it's a little bit nuts right now. I got banned permanently from Elon's Twitter, and I never even posted. I just follow people and like post. That's weird. Elon is someone who has already achieved everything that anybody could ever want. At this point, I think he's just in the game for excitement. I think it's fun to him, and he had to go on to the next big thing. Tesla's already one of the most valuable companies on the planet. SpaceX is a military contractor and is going to take people to Mars one day. And so Elon's probably sitting here like, I'm all washed up. What am I going to do with myself? I'm worth $250 trillion. Got all this money, got all these connections. I'm insanely famous. I have 100 million followers on Twitter. I know. Why don't I buy Twitter? And then I can just turn it into this giant social media everything app and make it into the future of social media. And I think what Elon Musk is doing here is I'm going to be honest, I would not be surprised at all if everything that's going on right now was part of the plan. I would not be surprised if it was part of the plan. I don't know if it was part of the plan for Blue to come out and fail and have to be re-rolled out. But I think it was probably an expectation of his that the entire world is going to come out against him and think he's nuts and paint him as crazy and as a failure, and that he has completely failed with Twitter. And then if he manages to pull it off, then he's going to get to say, ha, I told you so to the entire world, just like he did with SpaceX and Tesla. They said the same thing about him with both of those companies. Tesla has 120,000 employees now. SpaceX is leading a new era of spaceflight. The Artemis 1 rocket launched. It had been being worked on by NASA for 15 years. On the 14th, I think it was. That was their big achievement. SpaceX has done 10 times more than NASA has in the last 10 years. Easily. Hand over foot. While being a for-profit company. Now, they're a military contractor, but still. That is a big deal. And so he was told he couldn't with both of those companies and pulled it off with both of those companies, being told the same thing on a much larger scale now than he was with Tesla and SpaceX. Tesla and SpaceX used to be the size of Twitter, the smaller Twitter. And now they are much larger. Actually, I don't know if SpaceX is a whole lot bigger as far as revenue, but what it's going to be is going to be a lot bigger. So, yeah, being stagnant disgusts me. Evolution is key. Yeah, you got to keep moving. That's where the fun comes in. Elon is an alien who just wants to get home. Oh, man. Jebb, you should get an FTX sponsorship. I heard they pay well. Yeah, never had an FTX sponsorship. I heard they pay a penny on the dollar. That's what I'm hearing right now from everybody who's trying to get money from FTX. Nothing compared to tech involved in the Black Knight satellite. Let's see. Justin Eubanks in chat. What's a good tip today? Dollar cost average. That would be my tip for you guys today in the cryptocurrency space is dollar cost average. Bitcoin is sitting in a very vulnerable position, and it could see another major drop. once again down to the $12,000 territory, and I think that is somewhat likely, especially if another company goes bankrupt. If not, then maybe we could hover up here and we bottom out at 15.5 a week and a half ago and we maintain that. But I would not bet on it. I would bet on Bitcoin having a larger correction. So guys, if you're enjoying today's stream, make sure to smash that like button. We really appreciate everything that you guys have done for us. Thank you so much. And yeah, everybody's saying, oh, Tesla's stock dropped like a rock. It did, but its revenue is growing hand over fist. I mean, Tesla's stock rallied up to 414. It's down to 177. But Tesla revenue, if you look at their revenue, which is the thing that really matters, stock price doesn't matter all that much unless you're Elon Musk and just printing money. Their revenue, I can show you over here, has only continued to grow. Look at Tesla. Hit all-time high in November of 2021. It's down massively. It is down 57%. However, that's not affecting the company. Tesla revenue, you can see here in quarter 4, which was the quarter where this all-time high took place in, was sitting at $17 billion. Then it hit $18.7 billion. Then down to $17 billion. Then the most recent quarter, $21.45 billion in revenue. It's ridiculous. You look at the trends over here. This is the revenue trend. So, like, yeah, I understand Tesla is having, its stock price drop. Its revenue is moonshotting, which means that its PE ratio is balancing out, which means it's becoming a better and better investment. Right now, to be honest with you, maybe, just maybe, wait a minute, look at this. Revenue's going up, stock price is going down, PE ratio is getting better. Maybe, just maybe, I don't know, but maybe you should go and check out Uphold. Because over on Uphold, not only can you buy cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Cardano, VeChain, Theta, and more, but you can also buy equities like Tesla. And maybe, just maybe, because their revenue's so high, and they're getting $21 billion a quarter in revenue, like, that's just nuts. They've pretty much doubled their revenue ever since they hit all-time high on their stock price, and their stock price is down 60%. Basically means that Tesla is a 4 times better deal today than it was a year ago. So maybe, just maybe, you should go to uphold.com with the link in the description box down below and buy Tesla stock today. You can also come over here and buy your cryptocurrency and check crypto prices right alongside it. So definitely check out Uphold. Links down below. See how that transition worked? Didn't even plan that. It just worked out because Tesla is absolutely slaying it. So Tesla's doing fine, guys. Don't worry about Tesla. People are like, oh, Tesla's price is down, Ford's price is up. Ford Motor Company's price is not what a lot of people think it is. Ford price jumped all the way up to $25. It's down 43% right now. It's doing well. Ford's okay. But, let's look at Ford revenue. Let me see it. Let me look at Ford's revenue. Let me find their revenue over here on macro trends. Let's just take a look here. Let's take a comparative analysis. Let's do a comparative analysis over the last 10 years of Ford. Ford's moving sideways. Quarterly, they're making $40 billion. Just don't mind if I do. $40 billion. They were making, this is trailing 12-month average. They're making $160 billion a year. Tesla's doing this. What stock do you really want to invest in? Ford is a blue chip that's been around forever, and its stock price trades sideways because it's been around forever. You kind of just put money in Ford, and it kind of just sits there because they've already peaked. They've already grown all the way they're going to. This does not look like what Tesla's doing. They're exploding in revenue. $74 billion 12-month trailing average. For Ford, it's 151. It's bigger, but at the same time, there's a lot more growth potential in Tesla. So, to be honest with you, I'm kind of interested in getting some Tesla stock. I may end up looking into that. Tell me what you guys think about that. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and read chat here while we wrap it out. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. It is an absolute honor. I'm buying calls on Tesla. It'll blow up again, pun intended. Another Tesla caught fire and made headlines. That always drops the stock the next day. Yeah, the thing is, though, when you have hundreds of thousands, millions of cars on the road, something happening to one car, that's to be expected. If something happens to one car of every other auto manufacturer every day. So, obviously, it's a good thing that the safety standards are even higher for Tesla because it's going to drive safety. No pun intended. But, people blow one story out of proportion. Don't look at it from a statistical analysis. standpoint. Has he banned Jack Dorsey yet? No. No, he does not. He has not. Jebb, your relationship with Christ has made you wise. Wish there were more adults like you in the world. You're honest, caring, and intelligent. Thank you for all you do. Elon knows what he's doing. Elon does know what he's doing, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. Elliot Locke said, lol, nice segue. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Spend 15 minutes on a Tesla channel, and they'll cover all these talking points. Yeah, they probably would. Maybe I should switch out of Ford stock and get Tesla. I don't know. Maybe. Take market share from Tesla. Ben has a good theory yesterday that maybe the bottom is in because a lot of exchanges have been locking up. A lot of cryptos being locked up in frozen exchanges. Maybe. Maybe. The EV trolley companies did that too. Had the wireless EV trolley failed like Henry. I have a Ford. I owned a Ford was my first vehicle. I love Ford, but I like Tesla and Toyota more. Let's see. We're about to wrap it out here in like 1 minute. I just want to see if there's any final questions. Anyone that has any questions or comments or anything like that, let me know. Sell forward, invest in the Lord. Yeah, invest in the Lord. That's the best investment you'll ever make, is investing in your time with God. Amen. Well, guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's stream. If you did enjoy today's stream, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We really appreciate all of you tuning in, as always. Make sure to also go and follow us on Twitter. You can find a link for that in the description box down below. I'm pretty active over there and definitely following what's going on at Twitter. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about Twitter. And stay tuned because we have a lot more content coming out next week. Cannot wait. Before I go, though, guys, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.